Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Liam here, and in today's video, we're taking a look at the Hosafe solar-powered outdoor security camera. This was sent to me recently by the company. They asked me if I'd be interested in reviewing it, and I told them that I was because I have a lot of people reach out to me with questions about security cameras and how they can better protect their properties and their valuables. So I thought it was a good time to do a video on a product like this, and they happened to reach out to me at the perfect time. Now, this is not a sponsored video. They have no control over what I say in this video. I will give you my honest review of the product, and they will not see the video before you, the general public. So let's go ahead and open up the box and see what all we have inside. All right, so upon opening the box, in the back here we have the user manual with all the instructions and information. And then in this bag here we have the actual camera itself. So there we have the camera, and this little grommet's popped out because I charged it the other day so it would be ready for this video. So we got the camera and the manual, and let's see what else we have. We have the solar panel for keeping the camera charged at all times. So a nice little solar panel there with a healthy length of USB-C cable for charging the camera. Then we have the mounting hardware, as you can see here. More mounting hardware, giving us a couple of different options for mounting the camera as well as having a spare. And then here we have the standard charging cable to charge the camera inside your home before you initially set it up. So I'm going to go ahead and open this so you can see it. And this bag also contains the mounting screws, as you can see here, along with drywall grommets if you're going to mount it indoors, but we're going to mount this one outdoors today. So we have the USB A to C charging cable. We have the screws for the mounts. We have the mounts, we have the camera itself, and we have the solar panel. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at the camera. So looking at the camera itself, this is the camera lens right here underneath this plastic, and these are the IR and motion sensing sensors on either side. And then this is a spotlight that'll come on if you choose to do your nighttime recordings in full color instead of black and white. It does do both. On the bottom here, we have a small port that you can open for charging the camera in the house before you put it outside, if you're going to mount it outside. And then if we pull this rubber grommet, the full-size part, we have access to the power button, the reset switch, a micro SD card slot, and the charging port all at once through this larger grommet. And of course, the camera does have quarter 20 mount on the bottom as well as a quarter 20 mount on the back along with the speaker. So quite a bit of options there, which is going to make this really handy and easy to do. Now, this camera is a wireless camera, so you don't need to have any cables for your network or anything like that. It does work on 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi networks. It does not work on 5 gigahertz. So I wanted to let you guys know that up front in the video, 2.4 gigahertz only. So keep that in mind. Although 2.4 gigahertz reaches farther anyways and can penetrate buildings and stuff like that better than 5 gigahertz. So I would always recommend using 2.4 gigahertz anyways, especially for security cameras. Now, the mounting of the camera is going to be pretty straightforward, simple, and I am going to record the installation. I think I've got an idea where I want to put this camera on our property. I already have a bunch of other security cameras installed to watch our property because we have an acre and a half of property here in North Carolina. And we've had problems with people illegally trespassing on our property, using our driveway as a turnaround spot. And believe it or not, we actually had one time 2 or 3 years ago where 3 guys in pickup trucks that were hunting together came all the way up our driveway, all the way up into the carport like they freaking owned the place to turn around. So I thought it'd be a good idea not only to have cameras as I do already watching down the driveway, but I think I'm going to mount this one at the bottom of my driveway, maybe on my mailbox post, so that it looks up the driveway, so when people do trespass like that, I can get their license plate number and turn it over to the local authorities should I feel the need to do so, especially if they're trespassing with malicious intent, so to speak. But yeah, I think I'm going to do that, and that's what I'm going to use this camera for. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the part where I'm actually setting up the camera, installing it, configuring it, adding it to the app. There is an app that you can use to control the camera, to access the footage. You can also share the footage with other members of your family, so you do have that ability as well. Now, this camera does give you 2 storage options. So I showed you the micro SD card slot underneath this rubber door right here, but you can also store your footage to their cloud, and they do give you a 30-day free trial to store your data in the cloud should you decide to go that route. But I prefer to keep my stuff in-house, so I'm going to use the micro SD card for storing the footage and for accessing the footage. I just prefer to have all of my security video footage on site on physical hard drives or micro SD cards, just for my peace of mind. That way I don't have to worry about losing access to my footage or anything like that if my subscription expires or whatever the case may be. I know a lot of people do prefer to use the cloud for storage so they don't have to buy micro SD cards. I just happen to have a ton of them because of all the years I've been doing photography and videography. I've been using various action cameras, various drones. They all take micro SD cards. So for me, it just makes more sense to do it that way as well, because I have plenty of spare micro SD cards. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and move on to installing this unit and setting it up in the app so you can see what that looks like. Now, this is a 2K Ultra HD camera, so it is not 4K, but it is 2K, so it's better than the standard 1080p high def. I do prefer at least 2K or better resolution for my security cameras, just because that allows me to get more detail in the footage, you know, being able to identify people's faces, vehicles, license plates, all of that good stuff. So I do prefer to have 2K or better security cameras, and all the ones on our property are all either 2K, 3K, or 4K. So like I said, we're going to go ahead and do the installation of this so you can see how easy the install is, as well as setting it up in the app, and then we'll come back and wrap up this video. All right, so in the unboxing segment of the video earlier, I did a bit of an upload. I told you that the camera comes with a spare mount. I totally forgot about the fact that the second mount is for the solar panel. But we're going to go ahead and install this camera right here, and I'm going to use drywall screws just because I prefer those for stuff like this, rather than the shiny silver screws that come with security cameras. I generally don't use those unless I'm mounting the camera indoors. But we're going to go ahead and mount this bad boy. I'm going to put the camera on this mount here once I get all the screws put in. Oh, there we go. One more to go. And that's just to ensure we have a nice secure fit, which we now do. So now we can mount the camera that mount and get it lined up and get ready to aim it once we have it. Go ahead at the moment and get the camera mounted on here. We're going to adjust this, loosen this up so we can move it around. And then we're going to go ahead, and I'm going to use the well, maybe, I don't know, maybe I should use the back mount instead. Maybe that would work better. And it does have a notch here that you have to line up if you want to be able to swivel it. So I do have that set up. And yeah, let's go ahead and mount it this way, I think. I think this will be a little bit better. And so we mount it like that, and then we just tighten down the thumb screw wing nut back here to lock everything down the way we want it. And there we have the camera mounted on tight. Swivel it. Yeah, there we go. Just a little bit more towards our driveway. There we got that part. And now we can go ahead and as well, so it can keep itself charged. So yeah, I think I'll just put it on the opposite side over here. I think that might be a good place to mount it. Of course, I could do it up here. Either one would work. Yeah, maybe I'll do it up here instead. These screws put in to lock down this mount. Now they do give you a considerable amount of wire cable with the solar panels, so if you need to space it farther away from the camera to get good daylight exposure for keeping it charged. But right here, it's a little overcast right now, but I know throughout the day the sun will be directly overhead this spot, over the top of this spot, and then it'll be able to charge just fine once it gets to that point. Whoop. There we go. All right, so now we got it, the second mount installed for the solar panel. And being we're going to have the solar panel fairly close to the camera, don't worry about unscrewing all the wire because we won't need it. So let me just go ahead and get this lined up the way I want it and lock it down. And we'll set that like that. Now the tricky part's going to be getting the panel on here because you got to spin it with the wire, so just get creative with it. I usually will hold it on top like this. There we go. And now we got it the way I want it, pointed straight up at the sky. It's going to get good charging solar energy at all times. And I'm just going to unspool a little bit of the cable so that I can run it through the battery door. Yep, maybe it's just here. Take the camera back. Oh, well, of course, then I'm going to have a problem with that too. I forgot about that. Or at least get the grommet open first. There we go. So that'll work. And that's the other reason why I'm using the back grommet, because then I don't have to worry about the 1/4-20 mount on the bottom and the grommet getting in the way of each other. So that's always good as well. And we got this locked back down. We're going to pull out just enough wire to safely reach the camera and plug into it. All right, so we got the camera mounted. We've got solar energy going to it. The battery is already fully charged. I did that ahead of recording this video, along with putting in the micro SD card. Now I'm just trying to get this little plastic film off. There we go. And there you have it. So now the camera is fully mounted and ready for use. And we'll go ahead and add it to the app and then get it aimed exactly the way we want it and all of that good stuff. All right, so here we have the app for iOS and Android. It's called AJ Cloud under Lifestyle segment. Hopefully you can see that. I'll block out the glare there. Hopefully that'll help. Now, once I get this installed, I can go ahead and configure the camera, add it into the app, get it configured the way I want it, set all the parameters I want, and then we'll be able to wrap up this video, and we'll have the installation complete. Okay, so now that I've downloaded the app and I've signed up, you can sign up using your email address or your phone number. I'm going to go ahead and add this camera. So I'm going to hit Add Device, and it's going to search for the camera. A little bit my phone to detect it easier. I know the little blue light's on this side, so I know the camera's on and it should be searchable. Alright, it's not finding it that way, so let's try another option. Connect Wi-Fi with QR code. Let's try that. We'll see if that works. Press and hold the configuration button until the two colors of the indicator light flash alternately. I shouldn't need to do that though. Let me go back here. I'm going to try that. Add the camera to my Wi-Fi network. Let's see how well that works. Network connection was lost. Okay. There we go. Alright, so now you can see it's working on adding the camera to my Wi-Fi network. So this will take a minute or two. I won't bore you and make you watch the whole thing. Alright, so as you can see here, I've now got the camera added to the app. And if I click on the settings gear, you can see where I've got it named, and you can change the name at the top here. You can sign up for the cloud storage. You can do device sharing to other family members. You can invite family members by their email address or phone number. You can adjust the motion detection sensitivity, detection area, all of that stuff. as well as motion alerts. You can configure those. You can enable them 24/7 or put them on a schedule. Record and notify motion alerts, custom alerts. Attachment for alerts is image by default. You can turn on rich notifications if you prefer. And you can see it keeps alerting for me, so I've got to adjust the sensitivity or something. It's on the lowest sensitivity, but it keeps triggering when shadows move across our driveway and stuff like that. Under the advanced settings, you can do image rotation if you need to. You can adjust the anti-flicker by hertz, 50 or 60 hertz. Hopefully you can see that well. I hope it shows up in the video. You can turn the device microphone on and off. You can adjust the microphone and speaker sensitivity, as well as turn the LED lights on and off. I leave them off on all of my cameras so people sneaking on my property can't see that the cameras are there, especially at night. You have privacy settings where you can turn the camera off. You can set a privacy area. Let's see here. Memory card storage is what I'm using. And longest recording on battery only is 20 seconds. Motion detection recording, storage space. You can format the memory card, all of that good stuff. Down here you can set the night vision, whether you want it to have full color or just automatic infrared, which would be black and white, which I usually set mine for. Because the color, if a vehicle comes on your property, their lights are bright enough, it's going to blind the camera if you leave it on full color mode. I know that from experience, so I run mine on black and white infrared mode. And then you can restart device, do a factory reset, or remove under this last tab for device management. So there you have it. That is pretty much everything you can do in the app. And then, of course, I can load the live feed from my camera. It takes a couple seconds for mine to load. Which doesn't affect its motion detection, and that's only because it's at the edge of our property. I do have 2 bars of Wi-Fi strength down there. For some reason, I had to bring the camera up closer to the house to add it to the app. I guess it had to have maximum strength in order to register itself and everything, but once it was registered, and some of my other cameras have done this too, then I could take it back down to where I wanted it, and it was just fine at that point. Now, in here, you can adjust the alerts. You can activate a siren that triggers when the camera spots somebody. It'll actually make noise. You can replay footage. You can talk to people through the camera. You can turn the light on and off, and you can turn the device on and off. And in addition, up here, you can turn on the audio if you want to be able to hear it every time you pull up the live feed or not. You have microphone control, video clip control, and you can also take snapshots. So pretty much standard with all security camera apps. So there is the setup. This tab will give you your alerts. You can view them. If you click the pencil, you can select them and delete them or download them. It depends on what you would need to do. Mine are false triggers, so I'm not worried about it. Here you can sign up for their cloud storage under the cloud tab. You could do a 7-day free trial. I thought it said it was 30 days, but maybe it is only 7. And then you can do basic for $80 a year, billed yearly. You can do $150 a year for continuous recording, and Pro you can do $199 a year for continuous. Now these first two only keep 7 days of recordings, where the highest level, the Pro, does 30 days, and you can either do billed annually or billed monthly, either one. So monthly basic is $8, continuous is $15, Pro is $20. So just to let you know, you do have AI functions here as well, and I believe that's so you can set it so the camera doesn't trigger for pets and stuff like that, but I don't need to worry about that because we don't have any pets. And then of course my profile here on the last page, I can set my account security, general settings, and so on and so forth, but not really a whole lot we need to go over there. So that is the AJ Cloud app, I think is what it was called. So it's a good app. It works well. I haven't had any problems with it at all, so I definitely can't complain. It functions just as well as it should, and it's as reliable as it should be. Like I said, again, my camera takes a few seconds to load the live feed just because it's at the edge of my property down by the road. It does get 2 bars of signal, but apparently it loads faster if it has 3 bars, which is the max Wi-Fi signal. But I'm fine with that because, like I said, it doesn't affect its ability to trigger for alerts. That works just fine, so I don't have to worry about that. And then once I'm in the live view, I can hit this, and then I can turn it to landscape mode so I can better see everything that the camera sees. You know, I can see the live camera view. So very handy. Like I said, I like this camera. It does a great job. It's super inexpensive at $40 per camera, and it just works very, very well. So definitely, I can definitely recommend it. I haven't found any cons to these cameras. They work exactly as advertised, and like I said, I've had no problems with them whatsoever. So that's my 2 cents on the installation of the camera and the app and how to use it. All right, so getting back to the tail end of this video, as you can see, the installation of the camera is fairly easy and straightforward, as is configuring it in the app. Makes things a lot more convenient. This is basically a nice little DIY security camera system that pretty much anybody can install on their property to monitor their property, their valuables, their outbuildings like sheds and stuff like that, garages, whatever the case may be. And these cameras are not super expensive. If I remember correctly, the price on this camera is $40, $39.99 on Amazon. I'll have a link in the description down below if you want to pick one or more up for yourself. And you can set up, of course, multiple of these cameras and use them as an entire security camera net around your property, whether it's indoors or outdoors. You can use them either way, which makes it a lot more convenient. Of course, outdoors, you can use the solar panel to keep the internal battery constantly charged. Indoors, you can just plug the USB A to C cord into a proper 5-volt indoor power brick into a 110 outlet, and you can keep the internal battery charged at all times that way. But then again, you're running cables around your house, which might not be the most convenient. Now, what I do personally in our property is I do have indoor cameras that have internal batteries, and what I tend to do is I charge them to 100%. I put them on their mounts throughout the house, and I keep the cameras turned off until such time we actually need to use them, which is usually when we go up north to visit our kids and grandkids. The rest of the time, the cameras stay powered off so they don't drain their batteries unnecessarily. And then usually about once a year, I have to take them off their mounts, plug them into a USB-C cable to charge them back up to 100%. But I don't mind doing that, and I personally feel it's a lot better than having a bunch of USB A to C cables dangling all over my house or our house, and Tina wouldn't appreciate that either. So just keep that in mind. If you're going to use them indoors, you can either plug them in directly to 110 via 5-volt power brick, which you'll have to buy separately, but a lot of us have them laying around from old smartphones and stuff like that. At least we do here in our house. So that would be one less thing to worry about. You wouldn't have to actually buy any of those kind of bricks, but you would have to deal with the cables dangling, you know, wherever you're going to mount the cameras in your house, unless you do it the way I do and just use them on their internal battery only and power them off the majority of the time, or put them in standby mode, sleep mode, whatever the case may be, so that you're not depleting the battery unnecessarily. All right, that is going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for taking the time to watch it clear to the end. I wanted to remind you to also smack that bell and subscribe button. If you have any questions or comments on these cameras from Hosafe, please go ahead and put them in the comment section down below. I do read all of my comments, and I do respond to them. So you could always reach out to me that way if you prefer to, with any questions or comments. If you'd like to pick up these cameras for yourself, one or more, like I said, I'll have a link in the description down below so you can pick them up. They are $39.99 a piece on Amazon, so not terribly expensive for what you're getting. All right, I will see you all again in the next video.